Hey, what's up? John Sonmez from simpleprogrammer.com. So this video is mostly for those of you youngsters out there who may, and really I guess it would be anyone who may have been living their lives or feel like they're living their lives with the need to please somebody else. And you know, why am I doing a video on this? So it's interesting, as I talk to a lot of young software developers, surprisingly even some older ones, and just people in general, I see a kind of this reoccurring theme, and I've definitely experienced it in my life as well. But sometimes we can have the tendency to live our lives not based on what makes us happy, not based on what we think we should do, but based on trying to please someone else or trying to make someone else happy. And especially, and this is where I'm talking to you young folks out there, this can happen in regards to your parents. Unfortunately, I mean, and here's the thing, right? Most of us, whether we know it or not, our parents love us, right? That's not, I mean, not everyone, but most of us, and a lot of times we don't understand it, and we maybe haven't experienced it, and it's kind of a messed up kind of love in some ways. But the thing is, parents typically want what's good for their children, and sometimes they overstep their bounds a little bit because they put these expectations on who you should be, what you should do, and what you should become. And I see this a lot in young people that really, they're getting into programming, they're getting into this career or any career because they feel like that's what they're supposed to do, because that's what their parents want. They need to go to college and get good grades and do these things, and and whatever it is, based on this pressure. And when you come from this place of pressure, there's a lot of bad things that happen. Well, first of all, if you're living your life to please someone else, you're never going to be living your life, and you're never going to please them, because they're always going to want more, and you're never going to be able to perfectly fulfill their expectations. It's just the facts of life. It's never going to happen. So the sooner you can understand that, the sooner you can get to a place where you realize that it's just not going to happen anyway, the better off you're going to be, because you're going to realize that it's an unattainable standard, right? It's like perfection. Perfection is an ideal, but it's not attainable. You can't actually reach perfection, and you can't actually you live your life to please everyone, or even someone. I mean, you've heard the phrase that you can't please everyone, but you can't even please someone, honestly. Like, you cannot meet someone's expectation, and if you live your life in that way, you're going to be constantly facing disappointment. And more so than that, what you're going to run up against is that you're not going to have joy in your life. You're not going to enjoy your life, and you're not going to enjoy what you're doing, and you're not going to be able to bring your all to it because you have the wrong motive. You have the wrong reason for doing what you're doing. And unfortunately, a lot of us are trapped in that, especially, again, I'm talking a lot to you, young software developers. I know there's a lot of you that listen to this channel, watch this channel, and I appreciate you. Thanks for coming here. Thanks for, I hope I'm providing you value. But listen to me here when I'm telling you this, because this is something that I've seen so much that I know this is true. I know that this is likely you, if you're listening, because so many of us have this, right? This is something that is pretty universal. Not everyone, but most of us have at least some degree of this, where we're doing things, or we're trying to live our lives to please people, and especially our parents. Especially, as I said, a lot of young developers going into this field. So I would just, tell you to try and really think about the reasons why you're doing things, and to really, sometimes it's going to take some guts. Sometimes it's going to take a little bit of courage to say no. This is something that, if you can't say no in your life, you're going to have a lot of trouble, because you're going to cause yourself a lot of pain, and you're not going to be helping others. You think you are. You feel obligation. And let me tell you something also. If someone is making you feel guilty, or they're doing something, or they're forcing you to be a way, or to behave a way, or get a certain kind of job or go after a certain kind of career because they'll make you feel guilty if you don't. That's not love. It might look like it, and it may be coming from a place where they're trying to love, but it's not love, right? Love is letting people go, letting people make their decisions, is understanding. And so, I don't know, getting a little bit deep here, but I've had experiences in my life, and I've had a recent experience where I've had to kind of face up to this and realize that, hey, you got to take a stand, and you got to do what you got to do. And you're going to hurt some people along the way, but in reality they're hurting themselves because they're the ones that are making this choice. So I'm not saying get mad at people. I'm not saying yell and do all this and say you can't tell me what to do and lash out. I'm saying do it in kindness, but realize that this is your life. This is your life you're living. You only get one. Life is short. If you live your life to try and please people, if you live your life to try and please your parents, that's it. You're going to give your life up for someone else's life? I mean, sure, it sounds noble, but you're not even saving them. So, anyway, don't mean to make this a downer, because I really want to help you, and I really, I really don't want to see so many young people facing this struggle. I see it all the time. I talk to a lot of young developers. I mean, and again, I don't mean to say that it's just young developers. There's plenty of older developers or just people in general that still carry this for a long time. They live their lives and they're not happy. And sometimes they have breakdowns and explode and bad things happen because there's a repression there instead of being you. You can't be yourself if you can't make these decisions. So the sooner you learn this in life, I think the better off you're going to be. And you got to realize that people are responsible for their own feelings, and they're responsible for their own decisions and how they choose to interpret things in life. And unless you're being intentionally cruel, right? You got to do what you got to do. And if other people are going to have problems with that, you can't worry about that all the time. You got to just do what's right for you, and let other people do what's right for them. It's the other side of this coin to remember is that you can't hold people captive. You can't guilt people into doing what you want. People are going to make their choices, and if you love someone, and you got to let them make their choices. You got to give them that freedom, because without a choice, when someone feels obligated, that's the furthest from love that you can get. Someone may do what you want because you've made them feel guilty or obligated to you, but I guarantee you they're not doing it with any kind of spirit of love, and they're doing it for the wrong reason, and they're going to be resentful to you if you hold them in that cage, if you know what I mean. So, in summary, live your life. Don't worry what other people think so much. And if you're in a situation right now where you need to get out because you're not living your life, you're doing what someone else expected from you, and you're living the kind of life that someone else has decided would be best for you, it's going to take some courage. It's not easy to do, but you need to get out. You need to do it now. The sooner the better, and you need to figure out what it is that you want from your life, because you only get one, and you got to choose. So anyway, I know that this doesn't apply to everyone out there, but I felt like I needed to make this video for those of you that it does apply to, and if it can be helpful to you, I am thankful for that. And if not, well then, hey, good. I'm glad that you don't have this problem. So if you have a question for me, I would love to answer your question. Just email me at john@simpleprogrammer.com. And if you like these videos, subscribe to the channel. Take care.